All right. Joining round 1 here, won the die roll against TDW Vic with a pretty good hand here. I like leading on Verdant Catacombs. Lets my opponent have less of an idea of what I'm on. Well, I don't think it matters anymore. So turn 3, win or bust here. Sometimes you can grind against Tron, but usually does not work out too well for me. I love Big Anafenza. Sorry, I really wish it was brighter. The problem is it's so bright behind me. I love Big Anafenza. She was actually in my sideboard for the 10K. I brought her in against Dredge. I had never actually got to cast her. I just never played her. I brought her in against Jeskai. I brought her in against Jund. Brought her in against a lot of different decks, but I never actually was able to cast her, which was unfortunate. So we can't win because we're short 1 land, which is actually really unfortunate because opponent's going to have Tron. So I have to company here and hope to hit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can cord for 1, which doesn't do anything. So I have to company into it. I had to really nail Fox. I really had to zoom in to see what the that symbol was there. All right, come on. Well, we survive a Karn because I can get another Druid. So we get another shot at this. Yeah, I'm not worried about Dredge at all, to be honest. I did oddly lose to it when they had the absolute nuts at the IQ, but I think that was just bad variance. I mean, I think we're like 75-25 there, and every once in a while that 25 is going to win. Yes, Walking Ballista would crush me here. I think I just lose if they have Walking Ballista here. Simian's Spirit Guide. Who runs Simian's Spirit Guide in Tron? Has anybody ever seen Simian's Spirit Guide in Tron? I can't imagine a reason for it. I don't know. Well, I guess I wanted to exile it. I don't see the point of what they did there. So we're just pretty dead here. Yeah, this is a weird Tron list. I kind of want to keep playing just to see a little bit more of it. Put another green body in play so I can maybe cord or something next turn. Because we had it. We had the victory right there. Simian's Spirit Guide. Yeah, Ugin on 3 makes sense, but that's still just another card they have to have in their hand. They already need 3. It just doesn't help them get anything. Another Ballista. Okay, yeah, I'm just dead here. I just want to see a little bit more of my opponent's deck. I'm not going to show them the Seer. Is this just Eldrazi Tron? And they run Simian Spirit Guide for Chalice on 1? Like, that would make sense. Then they run the map? I don't know. Yeah, Eldrazi Tron that just got the nuts, right? And again, the only reason I have not conceded, because this game is over, is I just want to see what this opponent is. Emrakul, yeah. Really, what I want to know is if I'm bringing out Finks in this matchup, which I assume I am, because Finks is pretty terrible against regular Tron. It's not as bad against Eldrazi Tron, though, because they don't often have a way to beat Infinite Life unless they're running a Karn. Oblivion Sour. Okay, this is Eldrazi Tron. This... Holy cow. Okay. I actually really like Oblivion Sour as a card. I love it. It's awesome. Just not modern playable right now. So let's check out my sideboard guide, which in no way, shape, or form is ready for a Tron deck that runs Simian Spirit Guide. I guarantee you I do not have a slot there. So against Eldrazi Tron, I'd bring out Rallier, who I'm not running at the moment, Skoos, some Finks and Seer, a Shalai, bring in Knight of Autumn removal. So I'm glad I waited, seeing the Oblivion Sour changes things. I assume that Path to Exile is going to be a lot better than against traditional Tron. So really just need to be wary of Thought-Knot, Seer, and Cage. Although Warping Whale does a very good job against me. Oh, yeah, Plaguecrafter seems pretty awesome here. Hits anything I'm really worried about. So trim some Eternal Witnesses. Shalai probably doesn't do enough here. 2 Ulamog? Okay, so thank you. Thank you for that. I will trim the entire life gain package. And I will bring in... Do they run Chalice? Or Torpor Orb? Well, that's gross. Which means I probably want Decay then. I might actually want Gideon against them just as a extra clock there then. So I think I prefer Gideon over Shalai. 4 Chalice. Okay. So I definitely want the Decay. Let's see here. I'm bringing in a lot of non-creature spells, so I'm actually going to cut a Company, I think. I think I like that. I mean, we had the win if we just drew a land, but we did not. Okay, I'll keep this, and I'll put that on top. We have the turn 3 win here. So if they do like a turn 1 Chalice, this deck seems to combine opponent's deck seems to combine Eldrazi Stompy with Eldrazi Tron, and they just happen to get turn 3 Tron, which is probably not what their deck's actually built to do with Simian Spirit Guides. Hey, Neil Fox, welcome to the Doom Train. Okay, as long as they don't have a removal spell for Druid, we got it here. And as long as I don't accidentally block, I think that's also important. Or we could just draw it, you know, that way we don't have to chord for. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1. I can chord for 1, which is not enough. Yeah, I'm 1 short. So right here, I can chord. I took Viscera Seer out, so chording for Viscera Seer to get a free scry doesn't actually do anything. But I will float a mana, and then I'll kill Druid. Just so I can chord for Druid right now. And then force him to have a second removal spell. Yep. Yeah, that was my line. Yeah, if we had 1 more mana last game, if we had 1 more mana, maybe we should run Simian Spirit Guide, because we've been 1 mana short both games so far. Ouch. Okay, we need a chord, and we got it. All right. We did it, chat. Sometimes it's good to be lucky. Do you think our opponent will make us do it? Yeah, green Simian Spirit Guide would be pretty good for the turbo version of this deck. Alright, they're making us do it. Probably should click a little bit faster then. Wow, a couple whiffs there. Elvish Spirit Guide. I would like it. Have any of you, while you're doing this online, actually put Ballista to the bottom? Because it is like the worst thing ever. There we go. We have plenty of time, so I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so anything we saw differently there. Ooh, yeah, Ballista on 0. I've a couple times shortcutted and like Coco'd in or corded for Ballista and then put it in the graveyard, and then because I had an Ewit in hand just to kind of speed up the thing. Something I would never do in Paper Magic, but just to speed up the clock a little bit. And I was really worried. I was like, oh, if my opponent has Surgical in their hand, I just cost myself a match. So anything differently we should do here? I still think, with the knowledge that you guys gave me that they run Ulamog, this is a bad choice. Sin Collector actually could be brought in to nab a Dismember or something like that. This deck, my opponent's deck seems very all-in on dropping something prison-like quickly with Simian Spirit Guide and like a Chalice or something, and then kind of like they dump their hand and hope to get their mana. They hope to just cast spells that are much larger than me. So in that case, grinding my opponent is probably not going to work because they have things that just I cannot deal with, which makes me want to maybe reconsider this fourth Path to Exile. But if they're dropping Chalice on 1, I don't really know if Path is really going to be the thing that I need. Yeah, Shalai seems okay here to protect the combo. I just don't really know what I would cut for her here. Maybe Gideon? Gideon's a little bit faster of a clock. I guess if I have plenty of mana and they drop an Ulamog, Shalai I can cord for Shalai to protect whatever they're exiling. That's probably a little bit better there. I like it. I like it, Garrett. So opponent is going to try to keep us off a turn 3 win. We want to get a turn 3 win. However, if I was going to keep a hand that didn't have a turn 3 win, this one's pretty darn close. We have Trophy to blow up a threat. We have Path to hit a threat. What do you guys think? Would you keep this? Opponent is keeping. I think I keep this. It's not a hand I would keep against Tron. But I think this hand has everything we need. It's got a turn 3 company if we draw into another land. It's more reactive than I would like. If they drop a Grafdigger's Cage, we could be in a little bit of trouble here. But if we draw into a Devoted Druid, this hand is perfect. That is not a Druid. Opponent not casting a spell turn 1 means they either don't have Chalice and Simian Spirit Guide, or they're saving it to do something. I'm not sure what here. Okay, so I do not have Simian Spirit Guide there, which means Path is now dead. Unless I choose to Knight of Autumn right now, which I kind of like that line. Yeah, this hand does have an accelerant. So against Tron, I usually just try to aggressively mulligan for a turn 3 win. I think I'm going to Knight of Autumn blow up this Chalice, which turns my Path back on. And then, because I can't cord for anything, I can't company. I could blow up, my options here are blow up a Tron land, which if this was Tron, I would probably do, but this is Eldrazi Tron, and I think the odds of them having natural Tron lands is a little bit lower here. So yeah. If they have natural Tron, I don't think I was beating that anyway. Okay, and they have it. What are they dropping here? Ballista for 3, so we're going to be pathing this Ballista, which is unfortunate. This means we are not going to be able to cast Collected Company. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. If I blow up a Tron land, they'll still have up to 5 mana the following turn. Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. So blowing up a Tron land means not much, because they'll still have 1, 2, 3, 4 land drop 5, and if that land drop is an Eldrazi Temple, they can still drop an Endbringer or an Oblivion Sour and crush us. I can't cast Ewit this turn. You mean instead of killing the Ballista? The real question here is, do I blow up the Tron land? I'm inclined to say no, but then I'll get really punished if they drop another tower and then do an Ulamog. I don't think I'm going to blow it up. I think I'm going to save the trophy. And that way I can keep the fetch. Could just get really punished here. Okay. I don't know if I care about Smasher. So what's the next couple turns looking like? I either am top decking a land and playing Company, or I am playing Eternal Witness next turn, getting a land, so I can Company the following turn. So if I don't get the land, that means this Smasher is going to deal 10 damage to me. I don't really like that, but I also don't want to discard a single card from my hand. So the line I'm actually going to take is just take 5, go to 14, fetch, go to 13. This is probably going to put me to 8, so I think I'm accepting being dead to a Walking Ballista. Do you guys agree with that line? So to go over again, my line is go down to 14, fetch, go down to 13, hope to hit a land. I'm going to be fetching for a black source, so I'd rather save the 2 life there. If I get the land, I'm going to Coco on their end step. If I don't get the land, I'm going to Eternal Witness for a land. Yeah, I mean, so even if I had blown up the Tron land, by the way, they still had Smasher. So it's not like it saved me anything there. Unfortunately, Smasher having Trample makes this a lot more painful. If this trophy was a path, I could path the Smasher, discard the Ewit, and try to win the game right now. Yeah, Walking Ballista is really good against this deck. At the IQ, I lost against the Hardened Scales deck, which pumped out giant Walking Ballistas each turn, or each game. No blocks. I'm not going to block just to save 1 life. It doesn't change the clock, because I'm going to 7 anyway. That would have made it so I go to 8. Opponent 4 cards in hand. I'm guaranteeing you they have Dismember or a Warping Whale, which means comboing is going to be very tough. We're in a dogfight here. Okay. Interesting to drop Chalice on 1 if they have a map in hand. Map in hand, again, reassures me that not blowing up their land was the right play. All is Dust, I think they're casting it just to get an Ulamog here, which is not good for me. Walking Ballista. That's actually worse. Yep. Because we could beat an Ulamog if we Coco after they cast it. Same. Actually, we're just dead, right? We don't have Kitchen Finks. Walking Ballista is going to be 6, 10, a 5/5. Smasher is going to knock us down to 2, so we'd have to block a lot of Smasher. So we have to kill Smasher to not die, right? But unfortunately, that gives him a land, which will make Ballista 6/6. If I'm doing my math right. 6, 10, 11, 12 mana. It'd be a 6/6 Ballista, so if they play another Tron piece, we're just dead. So if I trophy the Smasher, yeah, double Knight of Autumn, but we already have one. I mean, that's pretty slim, and that's really just buying us a turn. I'm trying to think of a way to win. A double Knight of Autumn, I think, just keeps us from dying for a turn. If I play a bird, right? I guess I could Eternal Witness, buy back a path the Smasher. That way the land's tapped. Or I could trophy after they cast Ballista. Yeah. Actually, so if I blow up, if I trophy a Tron land that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, play a land 6, they'd have a 3/3 Ballista. Nope, I still need to kill Smasher. So I think I'm dead. Oh, whoops. Didn't realize I began combat. I'm going to pitch the bird. So this way, maybe I can buy one turn with a company. I think I'm still dead here. This is why I don't like keeping, like the hand I kept. It was a very good hand, but it was a little bit slow for the situation. So I think I actually have to, opponent has 2 cards in hand. I think I have to trophy here. I'm gonna trophy and go down to 1 and then hope they don't have another Ballista. I'm probably going to go down to 2. They're probably going to kill the Eternal Witness. And then we just need to survive for another turn so I can company and then cord for the win, or cord then company, depending upon how it lines up. I did not put the fetch in play because I didn't want my opponent to know that I have it. I assume they're killing... No, they're just putting me at 1. Okay. Well, I'll just keep this in my hand then. It doesn't do anything. I'm dead to a Smasher. I'm dead to a Ballista. I'm dead to anything that deals 1 damage. My line is, I'm dead to a Karn, I'm dead to anything that affects my mana base. Ulamog. Another Ballista. Yeah, I can't beat 3 walking Ballistas. Okay. Alright. That was rough. I'm going to be back in 30 seconds. All right, let's do this. That was insane. Eldrazi Tron is a great matchup. Any deck that runs that many walking ballistas and gets natural Tron, we're just not going to beat. I still can't believe all that removal they had game 1, which Tron doesn't usually have. So that deck is definitely a lot better against company decks. I don't know if it's better against the field. I think Chalice on 1 is pretty good right now. Chalice turn 1 on 1 is very good in general. Are there any lines that you guys would have taken that I didn't, that maybe could have won that game? My plan at the end there, I don't know if I fully said it, was basically dodge an opponent really having anything for 2 turns. So I think I was gonna, if I drew another land I could play, I was gonna Chord for Druid and then Coco and try to hit Vizier that way. I didn't do the math, but I believe it was slightly better to do that. All right, let's do this. So I just left to grab more caffeine. Morning streams, I drink coffee. Late night streams, I'll probably have a beer. So this hand is very good. Gavany's, I wish it was a different land, but opponent mulliganed. Yeah, I think that was a big questionable thing as to whether or not we should mulligan that hand. It was just a very reactive hand against the deck we really don't want to react to. So opponent mulligan to 6, put a card on top. If they are burn, I don't want to shock. But I would like to play this Viscera Seer even if my bird dies. So I actually think I want to shock here. Usually okay being a little aggressive with my life total in the beginning. Playing Seer first, so in case they kill Druid, I at least get something out of it. Man, it is really dark. I'm sorry. It's so bright behind me. That's where the sun is right now. And I am not brighter than the sun. Maybe if I hunch down. So I think we probably should have mulliganed that hand. It was just so tempting. And again, if there was like a druid on top, that hand got there. Simian Spirit Guide, Desperate Ritual, Anger of the Damn Gods. All right. I'm glad I played Seer. So what I want is Eternal Witness will be buying me. I already have Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness I'm going to use to get a land so I can company. Do I want another Eternal Witness in my hand? Yes, I think I do, because Eternal Witness will be able to buy back either of these. Okay, so opponent now has 4 cards in hand. And only 1 land. So I think we've got this. I do have to worry about Blood Moon here. So this is going to be getting a basic forest, so we can still cast Company. Yeah, Simian Spirit Guide. I don't really like Simian Spirit Guide as a card. I think the whole mechanic of it I don't enjoy. I do love this new art as well. Opponent's got 5 cards in hand now. They did miss a land drop. They're about to miss another land drop. So I think the easy line here would be to go Kitchen Finks, Vizier, untap, play Seer, and try and win. We don't need, if I wanted to grind, I could just play the Eternal Witness, buy back the Company, then Company again on my turn. That's also a possibility. We have Druid in the graveyard, so I can always Eternal Witness and slow play to try to get that. However, I think against my opponent right here, I'm going to do the obvious easy line. I don't think there's any, I think I'd just be trying to outsmart myself if I did anything else. And just grab Finks and Vizier. Try to remember there's a Dusk Watch and an Ewit at the bottom. Gain some life. And represent what is functionally lethal here. Actually, alright, I wanted to attack first. I was going to cancel that. Okay, so opponent is a free win red style deck. Put under prison maybe? No. I don't actually think I've built a sideboard plan for this, so that is something you guys can remind me of. Night of Autumn seems great. Abrupt Decay and Trophy also seem pretty good. Sin Collector is an absolute must here. Plague Crafter can smack a... I assume they're going to win with a Chandra. Can smack a Chandra in the face. I don't really care about any of these. Scavenging Ooze is pretty bad here, especially in the face of Anger of the Gods. They're going to bring in answers to Kitchen Finks, either in Grafdigger's Cage or Relic of Progenitus. So I need ways to either win through that or win around that. So cards that are potentially on the chopping block are actually the cards that just won me the game. Yeah, I like the new art better, so I'd slide that one over. I don't actually mind deciding out the most of this combo here. I don't think Kitchen Finks is actually that great here. Seer was wonderful at saving my creatures from Anger of the Gods, but Devoted Druid is actually, she could save herself. This would make me a little bit less reliant on graveyards, which I think is important. Hazaret, okay. Hazaret would require Path to Exile as the only out to beat it, but Plaguecrafter does hit that also. So far I'm enjoying the idea of Plaguecrafter being in the deck. I love your name, can't think of a name. It was blue, so I actually had to like squint to see it. And welcome. So I think here, I assume they're going to run Chalice, so I actually don't mind cutting a bird. I think I'd rather have Noble just for exalted triggers. Bridge is pretty bad against us, but a lot of players still try to keep it. I don't mind having one of the Infinite Life plan just to kind of fall back on. I think I'll run that. I'm sorry for the camera, those curtains are letting in way too much light. I love them, they're awesome. My wife grabbed them for me. I gave her an impossible task. I said I wanted a office which was comfortable, and she said, "What colors do you want?" And I tried to think of the worst color combinations possible. I said, "Coffee and orange," and I think she did a great job. So we got the coffee, right? The coffee coloring there. Also, hey, check this out. So it's a little bit of a mess right now with my sun chips, but that is a couch fort. Look at that. That is it's temporary, but that is a damn couch fort, so we can play some Diablo on the TV, which is pretty awesome. I wish I got a bigger TV for that wall. It was actually just going to be a third monitor, but... And then the orange is in the curtains and in the closet. The magic closet and also the paperwork closet is full of orange, which is sweet. But yeah, back to Magic. This hand is a snap keep. I mean, I think if I wanted a perfect hand against a free win red deck, this might be it. Even if they turn one Chalice, I don't really care. The only thing that I actually care about is a removal on Druid, and in that case, I just need to draw a land, and I have Knight of Autumn. If they do a turn one Blood Moon, we could be in trouble. This will fetch a basic forest. The other Verdant is probably going to either fetch a second forest or a swamp. There's not too much need for black, because if you think about it, I really decided in there's 5 cards that are black in the whole deck right now. I'm not really planning on casting Viscerus here. So I think I actually care more about double green for Eternal Witness and for Chord than I do for green-black at the moment. Preferably, I could have gotten a white source there so I can cast Knight of Autumn under Blood Moon. I'm not as worried about Abrupt Decay. I'm actually not worried about Blood Moon generally anyway, but I did... Oh, I got a smudge. I did horribly lose to it last night. Okay, so opponent's just dead. All right. 1-1. Yay, good game. We played against a terrible deck. I really am not a fan of free win red. I don't understand the allure of it either. So your whole goal is to not have to play Magic with your opponent. And yes, on MTGO, this deck is a pain to play. On the play, I keep this hand. This is basically a mulligan. If you just took out the Viscera Seer, or even both Viscera Seers, I would keep this 5. Oh, I was saying my deck. My deck is a pain to play on MTGO. Yeah, not my opponent's. My opponent's is so easy to play on MTGO. Burning Inquiry helped us, so that's cool. Opponent discarded Hollow 1, and are digging for another Hollow 1. Did not get it. Okay. A Collective Brutality would be very bad against us, or very good against us right now. And I'll play this Noble so we have mana. Yeah, this deck is very difficult to play online. Okay, please keep company. All right, no company. Good news is we did not get Collective Brutality, but the company's still gone. I believe this is a favorable matchup. Really, they need Collective Brutality. Just trying to adjust this so it's a little bit brighter. Get that right angle. Alright, so they have their removal spell. Anyway, they basically Collective Brutality'd us. Good news is I can reset Finks with the Gavany, so that's actually pretty sweet for us. Opponent's at 12. They have 4 cards in hand. I think I block here. The argument for not blocking would be it slows my clock down by 1 damage, and it also, if I top deck a Collected Company and get Collected Company into Seer and Vizier, I won't be able to win because I'll have a counter on the Finks. But I don't think I'll be able to combo right now. You wouldn't block? A 5/4 Finks? Yeah, I mean, that is real. But really just putting the counter on him just slows my clock down. That's, I mean, 5 versus 4, it's the same. Although now it matters, so you are correct. A 5/4 would be much better in this situation. So I'm actually hoping to draw a basic swamp here. That'd be a pretty good draw. Death's Shadow. Okay. I think Scavenging Ooze was a fantastic draw. I think that's my best chance here. So I can attack for 4, it's just not enough. I really wish I could play this Viscera Seer. So my options here are play Kitchen Finks, be able to untap and start Gavaning Townshipping for victory, or I can start growing Scavenging Ooze, which I can grow him by 1, 2, 3, just in my opponent's graveyard. I think I just want to do that. I think playing a giant Scavenging Ooze is the best line here. In fact, I'm actually just going to start, while they're tapped out, in case they have a Lightning Bolt, I'm just going to start eating stuff right now. Opponent really can't afford. Interesting. All right, so they've already gone through 2 Street Wraiths. They have 2 more. So I don't think they have a Street Wraith in hand. They may have a Dismember in hand, which would be able to add 4 power to this Death Shadow. Temur Battle Rage is real. I think I'm going to be blocking the Hollow one with my Scavenging Ooze and taking 9. I think that's my line here. And if they kill the Scavenging Ooze, my fallback plan is to just do the Finks Gavany Township plan to buy me some time. Did you guys ever see my Grixis Delve list? Okay, it's a little punishing. I already saw 1K command. I wasn't expecting a second from a deck that really wants 1 or 2 lands in play. Yeah, that was cute. So I think I'll play the Finks. Or do I Horizon Canopy, hope for a Coco? Now I want the Finks in play. Yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing, cracking the Canopy on their end step. I don't want to get something that might get Thought Seized away. Like, I mean, you don't not run Death Shadow and Thought Seize, right? They're going for 9, which would put me at 6, which if they have Double Bolt or TBR would kill me. My plan here, I can swing for 5, or I can swing for 4, 5, 6, put my opponent at 3, which is not enough to kill them. I still don't think I block here. Yeah, I don't block here. If they have TBR, they have TBR. Okay, they're digging for it. Eternal Witness would not be a bad draw, buying back Scavenging Ooze. Best possible draw is Company into our... Actually, Company doesn't win us. We already have Seer there and a Seer here. So Company doesn't even win us the game. Yeah, I don't like playing around stuff I'm just dead to. I generally take a slightly more aggressive line in most cases. I used to play a lot more conservative back when I was playing a lot of Tarmogoyf decks, but the conservative lines really just keep you from not dying, for a while. Sometimes you have to put your shields down, generally at least once in a match, and just hope they don't have it. Don't know what the opponent's doing here. Also, shame on me if I missed any followers. It's hard. It doesn't make a sound alert for me. I'm not sure why, but so let me know if I'm missing you. So post combat Thought Seize, interesting. I think my line here is block the Shadow, Chord for Vizier. No, that doesn't do anything. Block the Shadow, Chord for Shalai. Yeah, this is Death Shadow with Goblin Lore. So block the Shadow, cord for Shalai, especially if it's in response to removal. I'll go up to 8, go down to 3. Shalai protects me from a bolt or something. I'll go down to 2 with the fetch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I get to untap with Shalai, swing for 3, 5, 6, 7. No knights, main board. This line still has me dead to TBR. Still has me dead if my opponent has a timely lightning bolt or any removal spell on my creatures that I can't respond to in time. So I did the math correct, right? 3 power for Shalai, 2 power from Kitchen Finks is 5. Pump Shalai or Gavany, 6, 7. So I will block the Shadow. They're bolting me, and with the persist trigger on the stack, I can't actually cord for Shalai. I can only cord for 2, so that might have been a punt here on my part. Oh, no Knight of the Reliquary, no. So I can cord for 2, which does nothing. Yep. So here's a deck list. It's the one on the Discord. Knight of Autumn seems pretty good here. I don't know if I want all 3. So let's see what past Mike wrote about Hollow One. I take out some combo, and I bring in Knight of Autumn skews and removal spells. I need to lean hard on Knight of Autumn. She gains life, blocks, and kills a Hollow One. Got to worry about Leyline, Anger, and Brutality. I don't know if my opponent's going to run Anger with the current setup they have, but thanks, Noob Fragger. I tried to have a nice stream. Sorry, the camera's pretty dark right now. I think I want to keep in 1 cord if I can. And I think I don't want all of these removal spells, although them being Death Shadow changes that a little bit. Still don't know if I'm expecting Leyline of the Void. Fink seems important. Cut the Leyline. I'm going to go a little bit heavier on removal here. Which means I'll cut Ballista. I'm not planning on comboing that way, and I still have the chance to fall into the combo with life. One more cut, I believe, will be a trophy here. I have 3 Knight of Autumns to deal with Leyline and to buy me time. My plan here is to loop some Eternal Witnesses and beat them that way. This hand is slow, but I think it's actually pretty good here. Kitchen Finks is really good against Hollow One. It's also really good against Death Shadow. Yep. All right, let me catch up on the chat. I could have discorded for Finks, yeah, but I had the win if I got Shalai. Let me... There's a Discord link. It's good for 24 hours. Yeah, Playcrafter, I've yet to cast her. Or him. But I've been impressed with the idea of it. I would rather save 2 life than hold up Path to Exile. Okay, this way I will hold up Path to Exile, and my plan here is to path their first threat, then E-Witness buy the path back, and win through that. Also, I have Gavany in play, so this is a very slow, grindy hand. I kept it because I kind of expected my opponent to, like Garrett pointed out, have a huge fail rate. So Noob Fragger, this deck has not actually gotten... it's always had some bad matchups. Death Shadow is not a great matchup. I think it's pretty even, to be honest. Like, I'm going to path here, even if they have a Stubbs, which would be weird for them to have Stubborn Denial. That way I can, even if they did, I could just Eternal Witness, buy it back, and still get a 1-for-1 trade off of them. I think I prefer Skoos here over really anything else. I'm going to attack with Finks first. I think I prefer Skoos over buying back the path at the moment. I will finish answering your question. Sorry, just trying to play also. Streaming is tough. If they have the bolt, I can just eat it in response. And if they have the push, I'm just dead anyway. Okay. So this deck has always had, Abzan Company's always had some bad matchups. Interestingly enough, they've stayed pretty consistent with the number of bad matchups that are tiered. Storm, for example, is an absolutely terrible matchup for me. So I can swing for 4-5, put my opponent down to 4. I don't think that actually speeds my clock up that much. So I think I'll just swing for 3, knock him down to 6, and then see if I can replay Skoos. You would crack the canopy right now? I mean, I guess the value there would be if I get an Eternal Witness. I was sorry, a Company. I was thinking Eternal Witness. That's 3 mana. Play Skoos, 2 mana, and be able to hold up Skoos for 1. Interesting. I was also thinking of Eternal Witness Path, and then just having lethal on my upkeep and being able to path any creature they drop. I actually like that line the most. Yes, if I was digging for a Hierarch, I could have put them down to 5. I think I still actually just want the path. So I go Eternal Witness, get the path or the Skoos. I have to pick which one I want. And then I'll have 5 power in play with the Gavany, which is just representing lethal, and then I'll have a path to get rid of their blocker. And I'll still have plenty of mana. So if I go for the Skoos, the problem is that Skoos has nothing to eat, so it's just a 2-2. I get the argument, though. I mean, Canopy into a company would have been really good there. So I'm actually going to grab the path. I think it stays the most on point here. Scoos is great, and Scoos is actually the best answer if my opponent has a removal spell in hand. That way I would eat another removal spell, and I'd still have lethal on the board. Sure. Still have lethal on the board. You'd have tapped the bird instead of the Temple Garden. That's fine. We still have lethal in play. Yeah, that seemed to be kind of useless there, unless they're dropping something huge here, like double shadow. We have the path for one blocker. Yeah, Gurmag doesn't do much here. They need 2 creatures. That makes sense, yeah. That makes sense, Garrett. I think they just have a handful of reactive spells here. So I don't think I'm cracking Canopy here, because if they kill the bird, 1, 2, 3, 4, without Canopy, I can't actually activate Township. If I lose the bird and Canopy, I cannot activate Township, and I can only put my opponent to 1. Unless I draw land. Sure. I'm fine with that. Okay. I think I sided correctly here. Become more of a mid-range deck, which is one thing I love about this deck, is it sides into mid-range. Oh, and I'm sorry. I haven't fully answered your question. So this deck has not gotten any worse in the current meta. Thing in the Ice is very, very good against us. Grixis Death Shadow is pretty good against us game 1. I think game 2 and 3 we get much better against them. I'll keep this. It just needs lands. So a lot of the players that were playing Storm, which is a terrible matchup, switched to Thing in the Ice. So the percentages of bad decks that are good against us actually did not change. I don't think my opponent's going to have a super fast clock, so I think I'll have time to draw into a land. And again, I'm not trying to combo here. My whole point here is I'm just trying to grind them out. Probably shouldn't have shown him I had the land, but I'd rather that get a basic if I can. I don't think it was terrible. If I didn't hit a land, it was certainly worse, but I did have a couple draw steps to hit into that land. If they kill the noble, I still have 2 lands to work off. If they don't, I get to rebuy a land with Eternal Witness and then start chaining paths or do something like that. Shalai is kind of wins the game here. So my options here are play the Duskwatch Recruiter. My opponent's at 9, and they only have 1. I think I want to be more aggressive, or I can try to save the land not in my deck to try to draw the 3rd land for the Eternal Witness, but I would rather be a little bit more aggressive here. I just need 1 more land, and I got it. Thing is, I do run only 21 lands, but I do run a lot of mana dorks also. I'm actually going to grab Path here, and then with my 2nd Eternal Witness, I'll pick up the land, unless I draw it. He's on 1 land, so Path's a little rough, but I'd rather give him another land than... This is a situation where Path Exile is strictly worse than Fatal Push. So, if the opponent has 3 Street Wraiths in hand, that's 6, 10. We only go to 5. I think that's fine. This is great. We can actually drop a lot of creatures here. So I can Eternal Witness, drop a land, Eternal Witness, buy back a land, play it, or I could just Shalai right now, which seems pretty game over for my opponent. Yeah, being in the draw with 1 land's a lot better than not. I actually think what I want to do here is Path. And I want to Ewit rebuy the Path. So I can't really play. If I do that line, I can't play around removal. And if that's the case, I think I want to attack first. That is also a good line. I like it. I'm going to avoid the black fetch just to save some life here. Just in case they do have Stubborn Denial, I'm just going to Path now instead of before they can drop a land. I could do it on their upkeep, but I don't really see a value there. Opponent falls to 3. We have a Shalai in hand. Yeah, pathing on his draw was probably optimal. Yeah, pathing on his draw was definitely optimal. 2 and 1. So we fell to a spicy Eldrazi Tron list, beat Free Win Red, and just beat Grixis Hollow One. Yeah, he's gonna anger. He's gonna Simian Spirit Guide anger. This hand's terrible. Even if it did anger, I had Coco and Shalai in hand. Don't hit keep by mistake. Terrible shipping it. If this was a basic forest, or if this was an overgrown tomb, I might keep this, try to scry to a 2nd land or a mana dork, and go from there. But without a needing exactly a green land is, I don't want to dig for that. Needing any land and or a bird, I'll dig for that, but not just any green land. And then I'll keep this. It's got an accelerant. Opponent mulled to 4. We up against Dredge? I'll bottom a bird. I don't want it. I want a Devoted Druid or a Scavenging Ooze because I mulled to 4 looks like Dredge to me. Okay, we got the Devoted Druid. We're getting there. Tron incoming. Yeah, they're going to have natural Tron and Karn in hand. Which, on the play, that beats a turn 3 Druid win. I think we're up against Dredge. Could just be Jund with a really terrible hand. Yeah. Turn 3 combo on a mole. This is what I love about this deck. I think it actually mulligans very well. Some people have disagreed with me on that. Because it is a combo that needs very specific things to win. I can get a cheeky little swing in for 1 here. What I like about this deck is it's easy to pick up, it's easy to play. Anyone can play and go get some awesome free wins, which helps in a long tournament. But there's also little things you can do to gain small percentage points in different matchups, which will win you more games in the long run. I actually have a higher win percentage, Garrett, when I mulligan than when I don't. My 10K win, the only game I didn't win on a mulligan was the one in the final round. Game 1 against Ad Nauseam, I mulliganed to 6 and lost. Arguably, I lost that because I didn't think my opponent had an out to a Ballista on 2. I didn't know he ran Echoing Truth main, and that's on me. Although all the lists I remembered seeing in my head didn't run Echoing Truth main. So there's no reason to show the black mana at the moment. If they have Bolt, they have it, and I'll just Chord for another Druid. If they don't, we win. I'm going to Chord for Ballista and then use Eternal Witness to get it back. This is I would never do this in paper. I'm trying to shortcut it here. Save you guys the pleasure of watching me ferociously click. Yeah, he has Surgical. With the 1 card in hand is a Surgical Extraction. I don't know what the opponent's doing here, holding priority. I mean, don't joke about the Surgical. Last night, Are you kidding me, opponent? All right. Just typed into the chat told them how I'm going to win. So he's at 14. So I need 28 mana for Ballista, and I need 3 mana for Eternal Witness. I'll just go up to 40 just to... Yeah, in paper I'd say, okay, I float 10 million mana. In all honesty, if that was the 1 card he had in hand, he should have killed Noble Hierarch. Maybe he could have dredged to get it back and then killed Devoted Druid when I put an extra thing on him. mean, if he's trying to... I'm going to win before, like, what, 20 minutes is up, unless he does something stupid here. Yeah. Why? Why, opponent? Why make us do that? So against Dredge, this is my sideboard plan. I'll pull it up. Oh, sorry. I guess I should probably update that. So I can cut a Rallier, Shalai, bring in Scavenging Ooze. All I have to worry about is Conflagrate, Lightning Axe, and Dark Blast. Yeah, the fact that I lost to it at the IQ round 2 made me super sad. You could be cheeky and bring in Sin Collectors to hit Conflagrates. It's pretty cool because it exiles it, but they're usually going to be able to drop Conflagrate to their bin before you're able to actually do anything like that. So I don't think that actually does anything because their hand doesn't matter. You could bring in Path to Exiles to slow their creatures down, but the creatures aren't what's going to kill you. It's going to be Conflagrate, so I don't think that's fine either. I think the best way to win is to actually bring Shalai back. I'll just cut an Eternal Witness. Shalai in response. If I can somehow get Shalai out, I can't lose the Conflagrate, so I don't hate that. All right, be right back. I'm gonna just fill up my coffee. You guys can talk to me about how much I love coffee. I know. Also, the wife just got home with the puppy, which is pretty sweet. She just went out for, she's training her to be a service dog, and they just got back from basically a field trip, which is pretty cool. I'll be keeping this. It's not super optimal, but it's got a druid, and if I hit anything relevant, it's awesome. Let me catch up on the chat. Yeah, Knights for Leyline's fine, but if they have Leyline, that means I can just try to kill them with Druid instead. You're playing against Titan Shift, you gain infinite life. Yeah. I mean, sometimes opponents just don't realize how things happen. They forget that, you know, they die in certain slots. So opponent did looting, discarding a chill and an amalgam. We have probably the best turn one we can have, just dropping a dork. Yeah, Garrett, that's crazy. Yeah, you're dead. Coffee is life. So I can swing for 1 here. A cheeky little swing for 1. I'm just going to fetch a basic forest here. Getting a swing for 1. Cast Druid. I actually think the Noob Fragger, I think the Cabal card will fit very interestingly into a... Okay, they have Lightning Axe. We have a weak hand here, so this might actually be one of the few times we lose the Dredge. That card I think will fit perfectly into a deck that runs things that want to die, like kind of like a weird Bridgevine Coco combination. What was the card the 1 for a 1/1 when it comes into play or when it dies you mill yourself 4. I think that card with it works really well, and with some sort of lunge, I think that's actually really sweet. We had it. We had it too. All right. I'm playing double Duskwatch instead of a Vizier here to protect myself from Dark Blast. Dark Blast would just kill Vizier. I'd rather keep Vizier in hand a little bit longer if I can. The Serra is really good for a Spirit deck. It's not so good for a Company deck because the plus just doesn't do a damn thing. It helps her. If you wanted to do that, I think you'd have to run. I actually am kind of looking forward to that in a weird Lingering Souls deck. Maybe like an Esper Souls with a Planeswalker, which that deck could use. That deck could use a Planeswalker finisher. I need a haircut. That's 8. I'll go to 11. They have Conflagrate in the board. I think we're dropping this one here. They had the Lightning Axe, and we did not have redundancy in our hand. Kitchen Finks would be a good draw here. So they have 2 cards in hand, so they can Conflagrate to kill a Druid. So I don't think that's super helpful. So I think I'll play Finks. I think I probably should have grabbed Druid there and just forced my opponent to let's see. If I somehow survive and I draw exactly Viscera Seer, I'm not going to survive. Okay. So if I block here and here, I take 5, and then I'm dead to Conflagrate. If I don't die to Conflagrate, I draw exactly Viscera Seer, I'm okay. 3, 2, 1. Alright, let me catch up on the chat. Bitter Blossom and Cabal seems pretty neat. I like Bloodghast a lot in that. Obstat is just a card I think is severely underplayed in general. I'll have to check out that list a little bit. Wrench Mind, if that's in it, Wrench Mind seems pretty meta dependent. So this hand's bad, mulligan. This hand's good, keep. This is basically a multi-5 because Ballista's in the hand, although we have the win. Huh. So turn 1, I'm going bird. So if I have a turn 4 win. If I play the land, don't cast bird, wait, draw the druid, turn 2, play the bird, turn 3, play the druid, turn 4, win. That gives my opponent way too many lines, so I'm actually just going to play the bird and then try to limit scoos. If they kill my mana dork, I'm in trouble with either line I took there. Yeah, if they have Dark Blast, either way it was a bad line. Like not playing the bird, it was a bad line. Playing the bird, it was a bad line. Okay, no Dark Blast. Double Stinkweed Imp. It's a little rough. Okay, I get to eat a Stinkweed Imp here. Actually, there's no need to do it right now because it's double. So I'll wait, see if they discard a Conflagrate. That's more important. And hope to draw into a land to cast Company. I really like Gonti, Lord of Luxury. Did you guys catch KO Diamond's stream? He streamed with Green Black Rock, and I suggested he put in Gonti as a... He wanted a card to beat Control and mid-range mirrors, and Gonti is kind of that card. Nice. So I'll eat the Imp. Land. So now my options are keep attacking their graveyard, which I think is the best line here, or try and cast Collected Company. Fortunately, I don't really have to make that decision at the moment. I can attack first. He has Nissa and Gonti in the. He just wanted his 15th slot to be just to help him beat Control. So my options here are eat the 2 Faithless Lootings and the Life from the Loam, which I think is the best line. The just make it easier to say. Their yard is 2 Lootings and a Life from the Loam. So I think I'm going to actually not cast Collected Company here and eat most of their graveyard and just kind of slow play it. Yeah. Force them to have an answer for Scavenging Ooze. I'm actually going to fetch a basic forest here. So I don't have to play around anything I can eat, so they can't do any shenanigans. I'm just going to eat it in response. I don't think I need black in this matchup too much if I'm going for infinite life, especially since I have a bird in play. Let's see this list. Noble Bug. Nice. Newt Fragger, have you seen my Noble Sultai lists? This looks a lot like it. This actually looks really close to the list that I was rocking for a while. Nice. I might actually just Walking Ballista to kill that. That's just going to buy them some time, right? I would need mana to kill it and eat it. Probably not worth it. Start eating some lands to make their life in the loam worse. Yeah, just pass. Yeah. I was just thinking through possible lines, like trying to get through there, but there's nothing. A 3/3 is not a significant enough clock at the moment, and that's a 1/2, so I don't really care about it. But if I drew a line I could have done is Walking Ballista, kill the Stinkweed, eat the Stinkweed, and swing for 4. And I don't think that's worth it, but I'll have to check out your list a little bit after if you want to stick around after the league. What document? You're comparing list document? I'm actually super excited to see that. I think Noble Sultai is a sweet deck. Did a lot of work on that. Okay. Haven't had a chance to do anything yet. Sure, I'll go to 15. I'll tap out Cast Company. I don't have to worry about Skoo's dying here. So I'll get the Eternal Witness to buy back the company. I think in this slot I actually want the Noble for extra mana. Maybe I can get a Noble Sultai stream going at some point, if you guys are interested in that. So my line here is play bird, pass, and Coco again. I'll just play the bird to progress my mana, so then I'll eventually have enough mana to either shoot them down with a ballista, just as a fair ballista, or I can eat their entire yard in one go. They have no dredgers, so I'm not worried about that. 5 cards in hand. They have plenty of lands. I think they're flooding a bit. If they discard any dredgers, I'm going to eat it before they can flash this back. Or if I can. I could have attacked with Eternal Witness. That's probably a good idea. So nothing discarded relevant yet. I think they're digging for a Lightning Axe. They'll fall to 8. Yeah, you're right. If they were at 6 right now, I could easily kill them with Ballista. You're right. So they pitched a Life from the Loam. So I could block with like a bird there just to make Skoo's a little bit bigger, but I don't think there's a need. I think I'd rather just have extra mana. Alright. Well, secondary Skoo's is pretty good. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 available mana. I can make a 3/3 Ballista, which can wipe their board, and then I can swing for 1 short, huh? Just 1 short of lethal here. So I have 5, 6, 7. I can make a 1, 2, 3, Oh, no, I got it. Yep, 2 him to them. So we got it. I mean, or I could just eat. No, there's nothing to eat. Can't believe they attacked there. If they have lightning axe, we can get punished here, but they would have to fetch for it. So we got it. All right, so we're 3-1. Let's try to finish this strong. Let me write down what we've done so far. Okay. So, I'll do it a bit. Got greedy, thought I had a couple more seconds. All right, I'll check out the chat again. Yeah, Vizier was definitely the wrong call there. Sorry I didn't get to that. From A Twitch. No thanks. I do this for fun. I'm not trying to make money on this. If Baleful Strix gets printed, I'll absolutely run that. If this is a druid, this would be a perfect hand. I think I still keep this anyway. Does not have a turn 3 win unless I draw druid. But if I draw a land, this has the chance to go turn 1 dork, turn 2 something, turn 3 company, turn 4 company. And that's a pretty good open. Yeah, it definitely seems like spam. Can we draw the druid? That is the question. Opponent put 1 top, 1 bottom. Yeah, the wrong combo piece. Bitter Blossom. Okay. So we're up against fairies. I'm going to play Duskwatch here. I'd rather have the Vizier in my hand. It also can't attack through a fairy without the Exalted trigger. And I'd rather have the green creature in play to help me cast Cord. And if it dies, I'm less worried about it because I'd rather have the Vizier in hand anyway. Okay, so I can cast Company. I think I just do that. I could cast it right now. Fairies. They run Cryptic. So do I want to cast it before they can cast Cryptic? I think I want to do it on their draw step. I can't Cord for, because I lost the dude. But yeah, I would have corded for Druid. So I think right now I want to Company. Make them tap out on their turn, then I can Company on mine. And this is before they can drop a 4th land for Cryptic mana. Do you guys like that line? It also, before they get a 3rd fairy to try to flash in and counter anything. Okay. Yeah. Well, here's another Company. So next turn we can chord for Druid. What if fairy decks run for interaction besides push, Spellstutter Sprite, and Cryptic? I don't think they run board wipes. Yeah, I can go Infinite Life. I think the better line is to try to win with the Druid here. So I can Company right now, right? And if it resolves, then I can chord for 2, assuming I had 2 creatures. Or I can just chord right now. I think I want to do the same play, make them do it on their turn. The question is whether or not I attack. I can attack with a 3-2, which I think that would just chump. Yeah, I'm not worried about brutality at the moment. It would be pretty good against my hand, though. Cryptic is up on their turns. Maybe I should do this now. For some reason, I'm more worried about Spellstutter Sprite. If they block here, I don't have to worry about Spellstutter Sprite. Okay, them not blocking means I think they have Spellstutter Sprite in hand, which would be 4. So I think I'd want to, that chord would be able to get around that. So yep, that Sprite could get a Company. 1, 2, 3, Spellstutter 4. 1, 2, 3, Spellstutter counts as the 4th. So this would be x equals 5, so they can't get this. Yeah, Bitter Blossom counts. It always messes me up. I think they're countering this anyway. And then I'm just going to probably try to just grind them out with Company, so that's my fallback plan. Okay, Snap Push. That's not super scary. Made me wish I chorded for 3 instead. Opponent's mis-sequencing here. They should have killed the Druid. And okay, so they had a removal spell for the Druid also. So I think we're just going to beat them with Kitchen Finks. They have a lot of flyers, which can start chipping in damage right now. They have 3 cards left in hand. The problem is Spellstutter Sprite stops pretty much anything, and they have to have it, right? So I have 6 mana, which is enough to Company and play Vizier. Yeah, I'll be attacking with the Eternal Witness. I think I'm going to want to play Vizier. Bait out a Spellstutter Sprite. If they tapped out, then I would know I could resolve Company. They can. Fairies has a lot of cool lines. Unfortunately, beating them fair is not how we're probably going to beat them here. 1, 2, 3. Spellstutter still counters Coco, so there's no point. I guess playing around Cryptic would be the only advantage of casting Company then. I think I'd still rather them spend mana on their turn if I can, especially since I can just untap, cast another company. Argument can be made where right after, in response to them casting Serum Visions, I Coco, because then they can't Cryptic. But put 2 cards on top. I don't like the sound of that. They did not play a land, which signifies to me they don't have Cryptic mana. But still, before they have access to it, I'm just going to cast Company now, just in case they just didn't play it for some reason. There's a Sprite. A land would actually be a pretty good draw here. We have 6 mana. I could go double Finks, which will put us up to 12. 11, because Horizon Canopy will hurt. A land would have been nice because I could collect a company and try to hit a Seer. If I hit the Seer, then I could win with the Finks. So my lines are here, play company, right? Hopefully hit a Devoted Druid. They have 3 cards in hand. They topped top, so I think they put some removal on top. So yeah, I'm leaning towards double Finks. I think it's the best preservation line. I am going to attack with Eternal Witness first. Probably just going to chump, but I don't mind if they chump. Them chumping means I am less close to death. That's fine. I'm fine with that trade. I don't really care about Eternal Witness in that slot. And I was going to have to get through the ground attacker or ground blocker at some point anyway. Okay. So trying to 4-1, try to get through fairies. Taking 4, drop down to 7. I can't block here because my birds is tapped. Yeah, they put a Mutavault on top because remember they topped. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like a Horizon Canopy. Kind of like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it doesn't matter if I fetch. Yeah, it's got to be their line. So my line here is crack Canopy with the Forest, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana up for company. I just want to see what I can draw. Okay. If I attack like this, that represents lethal. They'll probably just block with Mutavault or the Fairy. I don't know if I care about Vizier here. I think I actually do, because if I can Coco into a Seer, I win. So I'll just attack like this. Put them at 2. 1 after the Bitter Blossom, and then I just have to survive for another turn. Okay. So my lines here are play Devoted Druid or cast Collected Company. I'm more in favor of Collected Company. It protects me from Cryptic Tap. Opponent's got Snapcaster, Cast Down. Okay. Okay. So I can collect a company right now. I have 2 Viscera Seer in my deck, 39 cards. That's a 5% chance to hit. I have 6 hits, so I have a 30% chance of winning right now. The only thing I lose to is if they have exactly Cryptic Tap. So I think I just do this now. 30% chance to win right now, I like that. And we're good. I will grab Eternal Witness. Rebuy the company. Could buy a cord here. They scooped to a arbitrarily large amount of life. I was probably going to gain like 60-something life, and they were going to die to Bitter Blossom. Perfect. Against fairies, I like Abrupt Decay. I might like Trophy here. Knight of Autumn seems really strong. Sin Collector seems really strong. Scavenging Ooze is a maybe. This card is absolutely... I wanted to run this in the league, and I haven't been able to cast it once. Gideon's a possibility. I'm not really a fan of spot removal. Cards I'm expecting my opponent to bring in against me. Maybe a Leyline. They did just lose to Finks. Opponents tend to be sometimes a little more reactive to what they just lost to, so they just losing to Finks, it might be a little load up a little bit more on Graveyard Hate. What do you guys think? Yeah, and if we didn't win there, if they had Cryptic, we were dead. That's just kind of accepted that. Eidolon. Yeah, that 15th slot. So Plague Drafter would have been great if we went up against Amulet Titan, Blue-White Control, Jund, Thing in the Ice. I mean, lots of different things like that, but we didn't. It would have been good against Eldrazi Tron, but we didn't draw it. So what's the argument for Eidolon here? That it stops Snapcaster? I don't think that's enough because Skooz also stops Snapcaster. I think they're going to load up on spot removal against me, which generally means if they load up in spot removal, I don't want cords. And I maybe will also cut a Mana Dork. They might bring in something like Damnation, which is why Gideon seems pretty sweet. And if I'm taking out the cords, it's possible I should just cut Walking Ballista, but Walking Ballista seems... They need double spell to win. But sometimes I do too, so that's why I'm a little worried about Eidolon here. I want to keep Ballista in because I think it's just a good value card against them, even if I don't have the combo. And I will cut... Finks is actually not that great against them because they don't have many... I can't block them. I think I want to keep exactly 1 cord in. So I still have the infinite life plan here, but it's very small. I'm going more for a Druid win, which could be right, could be wrong. I know they really do have to double spell to win, but I think they can just outvalue me. This hand's pretty awful. This hand has a lot of value, but Eternal Witness isn't buying back anything except for that land. So if we top deck a land or scry a land to the top, I can kind of progress my lands situation. Knight is really good there. Yeah, I just was hoping for a druid hand. I could mull to 5 here, but I think I want to keep this 6. I assume they're going to Thoughtseize me. So if I can scry a land to the top, I think this hand's fine. It's not great. It's kind of like a mull to 5 to begin with. I can see this hand either way. What do you guys think? Keep or mull? Opponent kept 7. I'm inclined to keep this hand just because I can see the line for it. I was bottoming anything that wasn't a land or a mana dork there. If they open with Thoughtseize, they might take something like a Noble here. Noob Fragger, are you on the Discord? They put 2 cards in the bottom with the serum, by the way. No, are you on the Coco Discord? Isn't there still a traverse section? There's a green-black traverse section. If you want to throw that there, we can have a conversation right there on it too. I'd highly recommend throwing in 1 traverse, and I'll have to check out your list again, but I highly recommend throwing in 1 traverse in any deck like that. A deck with Snapcaster Mage, traverse is just awesome because you early game traverse, fix your mana. It also lets you cut 1 land if you run enough, and then you can traverse late game to get either Snapcaster Chain, kind of like the Eternal Witness Chain here, or you can just Snapcaster, get a Tarmogoyf, get a Tracker, whatever you want. So I'm going to play Gavany. Oh, I messed up there. I was supposed to play the fetch land and then buy back the fetch. That was the line. I'll swing for 1 and play Duskwatch. Good news is we've drawn 2 lands, so the 1 land hand has not punished us. Yeah, you're welcome. I'll check it out. Looking forward to it. Spell Snare. Alright, well, Spell Snare gets there. So if we even had a Druid there, it was not safe. So I don't mind keeping value hands instead of combo hands against grindy decks like this because they're going to interact with your combo. So having a handful of Eternal Witnesses actually just gets better and better. Opponent, since I didn't have a ley line, might try to do something like a Surgical. Well, that is a gorgeous swamp. That's fine. An Eternal Witness, buy back the Duskwatch. We don't need any more lands. We've drawn 3 in a row. Thank you, deck. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand. Yeah, Township is absolutely phenomenal. So I can Township, buy back the Noble, play the Noble, swing for 3. Sorry, Eternal Witness, buy back the Noble. I don't hate that line. Guru lands. Is that like a... I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I like the Ewit Noble line. Unfortunately, drew the basic forest. I'm not going to fetch for a basic here. But Noble with Gavity is going to help us progress our mana. I think that might have a cast down here. In that case, I might just kill the Eternal Witness, or just push the Noble, it's fine. They made a mistake and still let the Exalted trigger stick. Yeah, Township kind of laughs at the face of Bitter Blossom, because even my birds will get bigger than their fairies. I like running 2 for that reason. So I think I go Druid, they counter it, and then I'll buy it back with Eternal Witness. Or I can go Duskwatch and start drawing cards. I think I'd rather put 2 creatures in play if I can, so I think I like the Druid Ewit line best, but I'm going to attack first either way. If they block, I might just go Gavany. I will absolutely trade an Eternal Witness with the Creeping Tar Pit. So here's the decision I have to make. Do I... They're $400 in paper? Yikes. Do I Gavany to save an Eternal Witness? Doing so means I cannot cast Devoted Druid this turn. I think the answer is no. I think I'll let Eternal Witness die and then cast Druid, Ewit, rebuy Ewit. Yeah. And then if we top deck Vizier, we can win. Yeah, I was perfectly fine with that block. Ooh, Last Hope. That's a good card against us. Do they have a Fatal Push? Okay, we did it. If they Spell Snared, they would have done it then. All right, 4-1. We got some stuff here. Yeah, I don't understand why they blocked the E. I don't know. I guess they did have a low life total, and they're just trying to outgrind us at that point. But they topped top with the Serum Visions, right? Or they bottom? No, they bottomed. So they're probably digging for answers anyway. So 4-1. It's a good league. The loss we had. Let's go back over that. So it was Eldrazi Tron, which was a loss. We played, what, Freewind Red, which was a win. What else did we go against? Oh, Hollow Shadow. Fairies. What was the 4th one? Yeah, maybe I don't need a 15 sideboard card. I'll just register 14. Hollow and Shadow beat me once, right? Yeah. Dredge. Yeah, I 2-2'd last night. I lost to double Rakdos Charm out of Black Red Moon. It really surprised me, but it dealt 14 damage to me. Blew my mind. Actually, we're in March now. So that was fun. I don't know how I feel about Plague Crafter because we never drew it. When I ran Spell Sky at the IQ, it would have been nice, but I never drew it. I could actually see a situation for courting for Plague Crafter, which is kind of sweet. Against Teferi or something like that, just court for Plague Crafter, wipe it out. Against Karn, against an Ulamog. Yeah, looping. My first version of this deck, I think I ran 2 Eternal Witness, 2 Renegade Rallier. I ran a Voice of Resurgence main, and Safi Eric's Daughter. And I had the extra combo with Safi, Viscera Seer, and Renegade Rallier, which was cool. Infinite Scry. Really tedious online, but in paper, just basically set up the rest of the game. Rallier's awesome. It's one of my favorite cards. That could be the 15 slot, to be honest. It's that good. The problem is it's another card that uses the graveyard, and all my 2-for-1s kind of use the graveyard here, which means Scavenging Ooze is probably the single best card against us. If there was ever a Thing in the Ice deck that ran Scavenging Ooze, like a Temur deck, I think we just auto-lose to that. So I ended up going up on Eternal Witnesses to have that sideboard plan where I morph into extra removal spells. It's kind of when I started maxing out in the paths to make us better against Phoenix decks and Shadow decks and Scavenging Ooze decks, because we can loop removal and we can run them out of threats. We run so many janky creatures. They're going to run out of Fatal Pushes. They're going to run out of Lightning Bolts. If they're Lightning Bolting our Eternal Witness, we're fine there. If they're chump blocking our Eternal Witness, we're fine there, because we have so much removal post board. 6 removal spells. I mean, so typical Jund decks run 8 to 10 removal spells. We run 6 with 4 Eternal Witness, so we're comparable there. It's kind of like we run, just count Eternal Witness as half. It's kind of like we run 8. So post board, we actually become like a mini mid-range deck, which I really like about this deck. A lot of decks don't expect. Kind of hoping this deck actually stays a little bit under the radar, because once people understand it better, they will be able to beat it. So my loss to Green Black Rock last night was actually to a buddy of mine who knows my entire plan against him. It's like, yep, this is your sideboard plan against me. It's like, yep, it is. So what do you do there? You know, if he knows that Scavenging Ooze is the single best card against me, he's going to prioritize Scavenging Ooze. He's going to play Bob and Goyf first, so I have, and just try to rack up a bunch of card draw off that, so I end up having to path Bob, so then he can have his Scavenging Ooze survive. Plague Crafter seems, again, I wish I'd been able to cast it, but it seems really good. I mean, even if it's just red, pay 3, target opponent, like if it was just pay 3, target opponent, sacks a creature or planeswalker, like if it just sacks itself, that's fine. But we have all these cards here, which I sometimes don't even mind losing. And sometimes I need to have a creature die for Scavenging Ooze, or so Ewit can bring it back, which is pretty relevant sometimes. For example, I could totally see post board like play Sin Collector, like a turn 2 Sin Collector, turn 3 Plague Crafter, kill something, buy back Sin Collector with an Eternal Witness turn 4, and then turn 5 replay the Sin Collector, and just kind of wipe out or attack our opponent's hand like that. Or even with like a Knight of Autumn, like a turn 2 Knight of Autumn, turn 3 Plague Crafter, sack Knight of Autumn, then rebuy it with the Ewit, same exact thing. It just kind of, because we have the 4 Eternal Witness, something symmetrical like Plague Crafter's effect can actually be really advantageous for us. So I think I really want to try this. I've got to have it. Like I have right here, like my green-black standard deck. It's just not there. I was looking for it. So to pick one up, it's just an uncommon, right? Yeah. So, thoughts? Questions? I'm going to be posting this on YouTube, so you guys can rewatch it there. Let me know what mistakes I made. I definitely should have attacked with that Eternal Witness, as I believe Garrett pointed out. That was a mini punt. You can put that in the punt counter. Didn't end up costing us against Dredge because Walking Ballista, turns out if you have 6 mana, 3/3 Walking Ballista wins you game anyway.